Most people don't realize they are losing themselves. There is no warning sound, no dramatic collapse. It happens quietly, slowly, in small moments that feel harmless at first. You stay in conversations that drain you. You explain yourself one more time. You wait for effort to come back. You tell yourself that patience is maturity, that understanding is strength, and for a while it feels noble. You believe that if you just try harder, things will return to how they used to be. You believe effort can fix distance. You believe loyalty will eventually be seen. You believe silence will be noticed. But life doesn't work that way. There was a man who lived exactly like this. Not weak, not careless, just deeply convinced that giving more was the answer. When people pulled away, he leaned in. When energy dropped, he compensated. When respect faded, he tolerated it longer than he should have. He didn't do this because he lacked value. He did it because he didn't want to lose connection. And slowly, without realizing it, he made a quiet trade. He traded his inner peace for the hope of being understood. At first, it didn't hurt. It just felt tiring, a constant mental noise, a low-level exhaustion that never fully went away. He woke up tired. He went to sleep overthinking, not because something terrible had happened, but because something important was missing. Clarity. One evening, with nothing left to distract himself, he opened a philosophy book. Not because he was searching for wisdom, but because he wanted silence. That's when he read a simple sentence written centuries ago. You have power over your mind, not outside events. He didn't feel inspired, he felt exposed, because in that moment he saw the truth clearly. Almost everything disturbing his peace was outside his control. And yet he had been arranging his entire emotional life around it. Other people's attention, other people's effort, other people's moods. He had mistaken attachment for depth. He had mistaken endurance for strength. Stoic philosophy doesn't shout. It doesn't motivate. It doesn't comfort. It confronts. It asks uncomfortable questions that most people avoid until it's too late. Why are you explaining yourself to someone who already decided not to understand? Why are you chasing consistency from someone who benefits from your patience? Why are you placing your inner state in hands that don't protect it? The man realized something painful but freeing. He wasn't suffering because of rejection. He was suffering because of resistance. Resistance to reality. Reality was showing him effort without return. Reality was showing him imbalance. Reality was showing him disrespect disguised as indifference. But instead of accepting it, he fought it. Stoics believe that the moment you fight what you cannot control, you lose control over yourself. That was the lesson. Not everyone who stays deserves your loyalty. Not every connection grows with effort. Not every silence means wait longer. Some silences mean walk away. This realization didn't make him angry. It made him quiet. He stopped explaining himself, not dramatically, not to prove a point. He just stopped. And something strange happened. Nothing collapsed. The world didn't end. People didn't suddenly change. But inside him, something settled. The noise reduced, the pressure lifted. The constant need to fix, save, or prove disappeared. Stoicism teaches that peace is not found by fixing others. It is found by governing yourself. The man began to understand why Stoic philosophers valued detachment so deeply. Not emotional numbness, not coldness. Detachment from what drains your inner order. When you stop reacting, manipulation loses power. When you stop chasing, disrespect becomes obvious. When you stop overgiving, clarity arrives. This is why Stoics walked away without explanation. Not because they didn't care, but because they cared enough about themselves to stop negotiating with chaos. Most people never learn this lesson early, because society praises endurance. It praises sacrifice. It praises holding on. But Stoicism asks a sharper question. At what cost? At the cost of your peace? At the cost of your self-respect? At the cost of your inner stability? The man finally saw that staying too long was not loyalty. It was fear disguised as virtue, fear of being misunderstood, fear of being alone, fear of letting go. Stoicism doesn't remove fear. It teaches you not to let fear decide for you. As days passed, he noticed a shift. He didn't feel happier, he felt steadier. And that mattered more. Because happiness depends on circumstances, stability depends on discipline. He no longer rushed to respond. He no longer chased closure. He no longer needed everyone to see his value. Not because he became arrogant, but because he finally stopped outsourcing his worth. This is the Stoic lesson most people learn too late. That inner peace is not something you request from others. It is something you protect through boundaries. That walking away is not weakness. It is alignment. That silence is not absence. It is control. Most people realize this only after exhaustion teaches them. After disappointment repeats itself. After they look in the mirror and no longer recognize who they've become. Stoicism tries to save you from that point. It says, protect your mind before it breaks. Choose distance before resentment. Choose clarity before attachment. The man didn't become cold, he became calm. And calm is dangerous to anything that feeds on emotional chaos. If this lesson feels heavy, it's because it's real. Not everyone is ready for it. But if you are, you already know what needs to change. Read slowly, think deeply, live intentionally. Because the strongest people are not the ones who hold on the longest.